Hello, fellow hitchhikers. This is an update to a previous video I did on staking the tubes for KOGs with the getting the RFox tokens. There's been a few things that have changed since then, all for the good. The website that I used, the Waxplorer, is now NFTHive and has a bit of a different interface, and a few people have been asking questions about that. And also there's more clarity, I guess would be the right thing to say, on how the staking and the rewards are going to work. In my previous video, I had outlined it and understood that there would be 4 staking epochs, and I believe that's still the intention, is that there'll be 4 staking epochs, but that the payouts won't be the same on each of the epochs. But what they have done is still commit to the 4 million RFox that they had set aside for the first staking round, to make that available in multiple windows, and it's definitely going to be a higher payout than future payouts. I mean, if you take a look here, the first window was on February 7th, and if you look at the RFox token on February 2nd, it was sitting in and around 2 to 3 cents a token, and it's now sitting at over 30 cents. So it's 10x'd, 10 times the value since this staking rewards was set up. So that means, you know, when I first made this spreadsheet back in that last video, I was understanding that I would want to get my money on a 300 or a 270 day after 3 cycles. So I can't complain if they reduce the amount of RFox, because I've already made, you know, triple what I had hoped to make, and I'm going to get it on the first 90-day cycle in those RFox reward payouts. So what they have made clear is that there will be one more staking window for the tubes. I think there'll be an announcement that comes out next Friday, maybe around the 10th or so, with the final window, and April 10th. And for sure, that staking window will be before the May 7th, because they're not going to want all these people from the first window to then be plopping in that second window. So sometime here within the month of April, there's going to be one more opportunity to stake the tubes and get payouts according to this original amount. Now, I'm still in the back of my mind wondering, you know, like, what if enough tubes are made that it's going to more than drain the allocated amount for this staking opportunity, or will it be paid out based on proportion of remaining amount, or will they still do this full value that's stated here? But as it sounds now, and more details to come, and I'll probably ask in the Discord next week if there's a scenario that it does draw more, how are they going to handle that? In the meantime, that changes the economics on what's worth staking and what's not worth staking. And so I'm going to do another analysis here and maybe finish or pick up or show you which sets that I would recommend trying to do. So I still have the spreadsheet. I've updated it to the current values of Wax, 25 cents, and the RFox at 31 cents. Both of these have come up quite a bit. RFox going up way more than the previous one. And I've highlighted now the 90-day reward, because these are all a bit of a mystery. The 180, 270, 360, we don't know what those are going to be. And the way I have it set up is I've converted how much the reward will be in RFox according to the current price of RFox to the current price of Wax. If the RFox goes up in value, as a lot of people are anticipating with all these other virtual malls and other projects that are happening in this next 3 months, then you know, it'd be even better. And if RFox goes down and collapses, well, then that's the risk that's part of the deal. But I've converted it to the Wax price so that I get a sense of, like, how much would I be willing to pay right now in Wax if I was going to convert that into RFox, future RFox, with the hope that that future RFox would be worth more, kind of like a forced savings opportunity. Keeping in mind that gas still hasn't been fully explained. What happens when we go to redeem this RFox? We will have to pay gas, or will it be that if you have it in Loopring, because that has since been added, that you'll be able to get the RFox drops for free inside Loopring, and then you just pay when you want to cash it out. So if I jump over to the Atomic Hub and make sure that I'm logged in, well, I guess you don't even have to be logged in at this stage, but I make sure I've logged in through my cloud wallet, and I choose KOGs and I choose the tubes, I can see that even in the common category, we have a couple tubes that are below that 62 wax. So these three here would be worth it in terms of the current payout of the value of RFox for the wax that it would cost would pay for these, and you would still get to keep the KOGs. Now, RFox may go up in value, RFox may go down in value, wax may go up or down, and so there may be other plays that could have been better, but as it is right now, this is a buy this, get a return in 90 days equal to what it cost you at this point in time, and you still have the KOGs. I'm not convinced the commons are the way to go. It seems like they're really becoming more and more common, as would imply, and that their future value as KOGs themselves is pretty limited. They may be able to be used for some games or for some things, but unless, if this was like 20 or 30 wax to buy this, if it's really low, then for sure I'll jump on it, do a commons tube, why not? But I'm not going to start there. So let's jump over to the uncommons, see if there's any good deals there. Uncommons will pay, uncommon KOGs, they pay $375 or $465 in wax. And look at that. So these uncommons, that's a pretty good deal. All of these first 5 or 6 here, $250, that's just under half price. So if a person buys this for 258 wax, they're done. They don't have to do all the collecting and everything else. They just take this, buy it, and then go over to the kogs.gg my collection, and in the my tubes category, you'll see your my tubes, and then you'll be able to stake the tubes once the next staking window opens up. You can see I have these 5 tubes staked from that first round, and look forward to claiming them. And I have 2 tubes ready to be staked in this next round. It says 3, it should be 3. Anyway, something's not loading right. Oh, there it is, just loading really slow. Looking for a deal. Right now, these uncommons will more than pay for themselves, and you get to keep the KOGs, and that gives you some buffer, a good 45% buffer in the price. Let's take a look at the rares. This is where I found the best deals last time round, was in completing the rare sets, not in completed tubes. There wasn't really many completed tubes. So in the rares, the cheapest super set is $1,100, and if I take a look at a rare super set, it will pay $744 of current value, so not worth it. I mean, save the labor. And if I take a look at the ultra rares, these are always just crazy high expensive, but they also have the ultra rare KOGs in them, and so there's an extra layer of speculation. So the cheapest ultra rare is 25,000 wax. So, and the ultra rares, they pay on a superset 1,488. So not even close. So the sweet spot is right there at the uncommons. So if you're looking to join in on the staking opportunity, that'll happen sometime here in April. Get in on the higher payout, but you don't want to do all the collecting, you don't want to do all the work. Look for those price marks, and right now it's the uncommons tubes that are ready to go. My internet seems to have frozen here, but I showed you those just a minute ago. So if you're looking for where the best deals are, and you don't want to take the time to try and trade, and you don't want to go with the randomness of buying a bunch of packs, but you want to find the best way to, the cheapest way to get a set of KOGs that you can stake and be able to get those RFox rewards, then you need to use a tool like NFTHive. This doesn't actually take that long to do, and the rewards are pretty good. So you go to the NFTHive.io, make sure you've logged in with your wallet. You don't actually have to be logged in at this stage, but it is a little bit easier if you are. And sometimes you'll see KOGs here on this front page, sometimes not. I don't know the process for what's being displayed or not, but either way, you click on the Explorer. And then this gives you the results of all the things that are on the Wax blockchain, and I believe it's sorted by sales in the last 24 hours. I'm not exactly sure, but it's whatever this top number up there is. So you look for KOGs, and right to the right of the magnifying glass is a sets icon. It looks like a little painter's palette. You click on that, and it will show you all the different sets that are available sorted by the completion. And over on the left hand side there's a little drawer kind of thing that you can click that'll pop out. And what I'd like to do is, you have to start searching. Right now we're going to go with the Rainbow 2nd edition Uncommon. It used to have the ability to choose whether you're going to be KOGs or slammers or not. That menu subset seems to be gone, so you end up with a few more results than a person wants. But anyways, I turn foil to false. I turn gold to false. I'm just trying to reduce the number of results of things that I'm not really going to be able to collect anyways. I uncheck any tubes that I already have, and then I can click find. And what this does is it searches my wallet with everything that I have and then looks for the sets that I can complete based on that filter that's there, and then sorts them out. Now becomes the labor part of this. And what you do is you click this little drop down, and after you click the drop down, I zoom out to the smallest setting, and it will show me that I need 30 more of these KOGs, and it would cost 148 wax. And you can see that that's significantly cheaper than the 258 for one that was already tubed. And I go through and I expand, shrink down, collapse. This one, to do this set, the Aztec pyramids, would cost 253, still cheaper. Try this baby dinosaur one. To do this baby dinosaur, it would only cost 151 wax. So this is showing me much cheaper options, and it's a 460 equivalent of 460 wax return. So we're looking at a 3 times return at the current prices. You have to hold it for 90 days. So maybe RFox goes up, maybe RFox goes down, maybe there's other things that you could do differently. But at the current prices, you're looking at tripling the value that it would cost. It would cost you 151 wax, and in 90 days you would be given 90, or you would be given a whole bunch of RFox in return for this purchase. And it may be worth more, maybe worth less. That's the risk you're taking, but you're also having the fun. And you're seeing all of these sets are quite a bit cheaper. I'm going to jump over to the second page and show you a couple of results over there. Here we go. So if I look at this cracked chicken egg, you'll see that it would only cost 174 wax, but one is not available. This one right there. So I would not collect this set unless you can figure out which this one here is, and then locate it in, say, a bundle, or you find someone that you want to trade with, and or it won't show up in the pop-up here, but I have to figure out which one that one is and then try and locate it. So at this stage though, I wouldn't even bother trying to collect that. So you just go through and expand, shrink down, find the cheapest set or a set that you're interested in doing, and you're going to find that some of these are like really expensive. You'll end up costing you more than it's worth. Well, here's another one that has one not available. But many of these are cheaper. So let me show you how you would actually start buying the sets. Let's say I take this Ray one. I can click this 32 available for 168 wax. It will bring up the results of those KOGs that I'm missing, and it'll search and find the cheapest ones, the cheapest that are missing. And I can just start clicking buy in here. However, I don't recommend doing that. I find this window often really cramped and hard to work in. Sometimes, like I have it zoomed at 75%. Once you're at your sort of normal 100%, I find that I go to hold my mouse over things and I can't see the drop downs. It doesn't really work. So I click this show full search, and what that does is it allows me to zoom out a little bit, just make the window a bit smaller, and I can take a look at these side filters and show you what it's doing. It's going cheapest missing, sort by price, second edition, Cartoon Heroes, Ray is the name of this one here. But by doing that first layer of finding which sets would be the cheapest, now I'm zooming in on, okay, which KOGs within that set are the ones to buy. And the only warning I would give here is you have to be careful, because it is sorting by price, but it's also sorting any that are the same price, same border. So if you take a look at this right off the first row here, this one is Caramel 20. or caramel. This one also is caramel 20. So I don't need both of these cogs. I only need one of them. They just both happen to be the same border, same color, and same price. And so the algorithm pulled back both results. So I would probably then just choose by the number. Either way, what I would do is just click one of them to buy, but I would just choose one of them, choose one of these other ones, and then what I can do is it automatically buys for me, and there it is. It's added to my inventory. I have it, and I can refresh the page, just a simple F5 or a refresh, and it will get those out of the results and reduce down. So now I have 35 results. So I do that every now and then just so I don't get overwhelmed. What can be a good strategy as well is go look at the most expensive. You look at this one here, you're looking at $7 for this one. The overall price is worth it, but that's just way too much for an uncommon. So maybe before you go in too deep, you jump on to the Discord, say, hey, anyone have a ray with this border they're willing to trade? And they'll be like, oh, sure, yeah, I'll trade it. It's just an uncommon, right? They're usually only worth 5, 6, 7 wax at that. And you might be able to get some of those even cheaper. It depends on how much you want to do. But even at just buying all of these at market price and even paying that extra value for those down on the bottom, it's still worth it. You'll get that deal. And in terms of the return on a tubed set that you stake. I did this just a few minutes ago with another set that only cost, it was the UFO machine, and it only cost me 140 wax to do it all, and I discovered my audio wasn't recording. So I'm not going to go through and click every single one of these, but that's what you do, is you just go click, buy, and load up a whole bunch of cogs. Sometimes it can take a few minutes, sometimes it can take an hour, sometimes it's instant, but once you've purchased the cogs, they will show up in your inventory. And you can see there's the rays that I just bought as demonstration. Here's all of these UFO machines I bought when the microphone wasn't recording. And I usually find it's pretty instant in this inventory, but when I go over to the Stake Your Cogs, the KOGs.gg, my collection, after I've logged in, sometimes they don't appear here, but I'll just type UFO, and they are appearing. So they showed up pretty quick. There have been a few cases where it takes a while. And what's nice about this interface is when you start to click, it will predict down below what it is you're trying to do. And it will automatically detect that it's a second edition uncommon cog rainbow. And even if I don't have the search filter on, it will eliminate all those other results and only show you the things that will go with that set in order to be able to tube it. So you can just sort of click wildly about, unless you have, I found with the slammers, if I had a gold, it would throw things off. But anyways, there we go. And it's sorted them all, it's collected them all, and I can now tube this. I did notice that in the NFTHive, let me go back. That in the NFTHive tools, I did see this create tube, and it's actually got a little bit of a nice feature. It says create tube using the low mints or create tube using the high mints. So if you have more than necessary to create a tube, it will actually search through and give you that extra ability. I haven't used that in the NFTHive. It is right there. I believe it works. I'm just going to stick with the KOGs.gg process. And so now what I do is I click create tube. And you'll sometimes get these weird pop-up errors. Oh, look at that. Where there's not enough RAM, tubes.gg. So there's so many people tubing. There's so much activity right now. It's not able to create the tube. That can happen even to you. You'll be in here buying away, buy. And suddenly the transactions will stop working. And what you do, if it's your issue, is you come to the wallet.wax, the all access wax wallet. And in here, there's a resources, and you want to make sure I find for the RAM that you have, when you first set up your account, spend 10 wax. I know it's like $3, but spend that 10 wax, or even I think some people just put in 2 or 3 wax and buy some RAM, and you'll find that you can do a lot more transactions and you don't run out. You don't have to. If you run out of resources, you just wait a few minutes. This situation, though, looks like it's coming from the tubes.cogs has insufficient RAM, so there's nothing I can do about that. I can maybe make a message in Discord or just wait and try a little bit later. So once you've created your tube though, you just click that button. It'll appear over here in your tubes. I'll have a fourth tube, and then I can click on the tubes and you can open them to see what's inside of them, or I can stake them. Now this button right now is not active, but it will be in a couple weeks, and I'll be able to stake this tube, and then it'll show up over here in the My Stakes. And you can see I currently have 5 tubes staked, and I don't like to click them or do anything. I probably can, but I just don't want to accidentally unstake them and end up with losing out on that payout, because right now I'm going to get 3,750 RFOX, and that's worth over $1,000. So that's a pretty good return, and it did not, well, I don't know how much it cost me to do all of these. I believe it cost me, well, definitely less than that, probably 1/3, I think about $300 or $400 to do that. So this is definitely worth it. I'm going to get more than what it cost for me to do it, plus I get to keep the COGs. There, that's it. I hope that was helpful, and like I say, you can just buy tubes that are already made, look for the deals. Use this information as a guiding process. Don't just, buy on the type of COGs if you're looking at it from investment, but look for these returns that match the amount of money that you're spending. And love any comments below. Feel free to share this video, get people tubing. If I get an update from when the announcement is made for this last window for this first payout rewards, I will add it to the description, and so you can read that description to find out what's going to happen if more people tube than the allocated amount. Okay, take care. See you in the next video.